Hi viewers, welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to learn about production and employment from the 10th class social studies textbook. First of all, let us see what is a production and what is an employment. Here, the production is a process of creating various goods and services which are consumed by the people of a country, whereas an employment is an agreement between an employer and an employee. Both of these, production and unemployment, represent the economy of a country. Based on these two, production and employment, the economy can be divided into three sectors. Let us see what are they. There are three sectors in our Indian economy. They are primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Let us discuss about them. First, primary sector. It is also known as an agricultural sector because it consists of agricultural and its relative activities such as fishing, forestry, mining, poultry, etc. And here the nature plays a dominant role in the production process. Now let us see about the secondary sector. It is also called as industrial sector. It is a sector which is engaged in manufacturing of goods from raw material which is produced by the primary sector. And here goods are produced by using tools and machines. For example, here in the primary sector we produce the sugarcane, suppose, and it will be this sugarcane as a raw material we make sugar in the secondary sector. Now let us see about the tertiary sector. It is also known as service sector. Here the activities don't produce directly goods, but they provide the services to the both of these sectors, means it helps to these both sectors, primary and secondary sectors. Here the services are comprises of three types. Let us see what are they. This table shows about the three types of services with different examples. Let us see them. The first one is community, social and personal services. Under this we can see public administration, defense, education, health, veterinary activities, media, library, archives, museums and other cultural activities, etc. And the second one is finance, insurance and real estates. Under this we can see services of banks, post office savings accounts, non-bank financial companies, life insurance and general insurance corporation, services of brokers and real estate companies, etc. And the third one is trade, hotels, transport and communication. Under this we can see railways, ports, airline services, road transports, exports, imports, business, trade, internet, telecommunications, satellite services, tourism, etc. Now let us see the table which shows the percentage of employees in different sectors in India in 1972 to 73 and in 2015 to 16, that is after 43 years. From the given table we can observe that there is a great shift from the agricultural sector to industrial and service sector. Now let us see about the agricultural sector. In 1972 to 73 year, the percentage of employees in this sector is 74%, whereas in industrial sector it is 11% and in service sector it is 15%. In the same way, 2015 to 16, if we see the percentage of employees is 47% in agricultural sector, means it was reduced to 27%. When we see here the percentage of industrial sector in 2015 to 16, it is 22%, means it is increased to 11%. In the same way, in the service sector, the percentage of employees is 31%, means it is increased to 16%. Here we can say that the development of these industrial and service sectors are indicator of economic development. So these are the major changes that we observed from the given table. Now let us discuss about the second question. Here he asked about from what you have read before, discuss what could be some of the reasons for these changes. Now let us discuss about this. The main reasons for these changes or development are in manufacturing sector, new machines and tools are being used in production. Factories are expanding. Secondary sector became most important in total production and employment. In service sector, new services are being included and expanding rapidly. Knowledge process outsourcing has become the buzzword of this sector. Now let us know about the GDP. Here GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product. So far we have discussed about the three sectors. From these different sectors, people produce a large amount of goods and services. The sum of production in the three sectors gives what is called the GDP of a country. Means GDP means here nothing but the total value of final goods and services which is produced in each sector in a particular year. Here one graph is given which shows about the GDP of 2 years, that is 1973 to 74 and 2013 to 14. Here the agriculture sector is the largest producing sector in 1973 to 74. Whereas in 2013 to 14 the service sector is the largest producing sector. The total value of production of goods and services in India increased approximately 9.4 times between 1973 to 74 and 2013 to 14. Now let us see how do we estimate the total value of goods and services. Means nothing but how do we estimate the GDP. Let us take an example and discuss. Let us discuss in three stages. First of all, let us take stage 1. In this stage, just you think that a farmer who sells 100 kilograms of paddy at the cost of 25 rupees, he sells paddy to a rice mill owner at the cost of 25 rupees. Means the total value of paddy produced by him is 2500 rupees. Later, after selling this to a rice mill owner, later in the second stage, again the rice mill owner who got the paddy from the farmer, again he divides that paddy into two, means rice and husk. Again he sells rice 80 kilograms of rice at the cost of 40 rupees, means 3200 rupees, and again remaining husk 20 kilograms of husk at the cost of 20 rupees, means the 400 rupees. Means nothing but the value of rice and husk produced by him is totally 3600 rupees. Then later, after selling this in the third, when we see in the third stage, means whatever he got from the rice mill owner, the hotelier, again he makes idli and dosa from the rice. He sells idli and dosa. He makes idli and dosa with that rice, and again he sells this idli and dosa at the cost of totally 5000 rupees. Means thus the hotelier earns totally 5000 rupees from the sale of idli and dosa. Hence the final goods worth of these 5000 sold by the hotelier already included the value of rice and husk, means 3600. So we should not add them up. If suppose we add them, the cost of the items is calculated twice. Here the value of final goods already includes the value of all intermediate goods that are utilized in the making of final goods. At each stage the producer paid for the goods which are already produced by someone else before. So here the goods such as paddy, rice and husk are called an intermediate goods, and the idli and dosa are called the final goods. So here we have understood that we add only the final goods, the value of final goods and services, and the intermediate goods are not included while estimating the GDP.